What's good, everyone? Welcome into a new episode of the DR Sports Academy. I am Ben Spicer. High school football still several months away, but it's big time out of the year, June, July, for high school football players that are looking to get recruited with college camps, showcase camps, and the like. And with that in mind, I welcome in our guest now joining us, Coach Miller, who has been to several camps the last couple days. Coach, thanks for joining us. First off, give us a little insight into your background. I know you wear a lot of hats down there in the San Antonio area.
Yes. Thank you for having me on, man. It's a pleasure, man. It's definitely an honor. Uh, I'm from Detroit. Went to St. Martin de Porres, went to Bowling Green, transferred, went to Kentucky State, played football, ran track at Kentucky State, uh, played professional ball for a couple years after that. Started off with arena football, and then I've been down here in the San Antonio area for going on about 10 years. I'm a firefighter down here now, but I'm a trainer. I also have my own 7-on-7 team, so we travel across the country playing 7-on-7. And then now in the camp season, for the guys that I train, we go to camps, and it's just camp, man. Getting these guys into school. Kind of started off doing that down here with one of my guys who's now a freshman up at Fordham. He's at Fordham up in the Bronx, up in New York. Ricky Gonzalez, man, got Ricky his freshman year. And man, we just trained. Man, went to camps all across the country. He ended up with 8 Division I offers. So he had some options when it came down to picking his school, but he wound up picking Fordham, and now he's up at Fordham. So shout out to my little brother Ricky. So yeah, that's what I do down here in San Antonio, man. I'm just trying to help kids get into school. You can tell by when you look at my Twitter, man. I'm just trying to be a bridge, to connect some dots for people. Even guys that I don't train. I was at camps this past weekend, and I had seen a kid at one camp, and then I seen him at another camp, and automatically I'll start telling coaches about him, even though he wasn't one of my players. Because I got to tell one coach, I don't gatekeep. You know what I mean? If I see a kid and I'm like, yo, this kid can play, I'm going to definitely tell some coaches about you.
Well, I know we've had some discussions at DR7 tournaments in the past, about different things. And with those in mind, I thought, you'd be the perfect guest for this. And with the timing of everything, there's probably a lot of people out there. Maybe they've gone to camps in the last week or so. Maybe they're considering going to a camp. So I kind of wanted to bring you on to set the record straight in terms of how to go about a college camp. So let's say, this is your first time or you've been to a camp or two. What maybe should you expect when you go to one of these college camps?
So the biggest thing is for me is reach out to the coaches before you go, like the best you can, whether that's email or Twitter or Pony Express, whatever you got to do. Reach out to the coaches so they know you're coming, so you're not just another number when you get there. And then before you get there, you need to be prepared. You need to be in shape. There's a lot of running going on at these camps, and especially if you're down here in the state of Texas, it's hot. So be hydrated before you get there. So what can you expect? You can expect a lot of other campers to be there, because think about it, you all are competing for the same exact thing, a scholarship. And for each class at each position, they're probably only taking 3 or 4 people. So if you're thinking like, oh, I went to this camp, I had a good camp, why didn't I get offered? Well, you got to remember there's 1,000 other people that came to that camp that was going for that same 1, 2, or 3 offers that were there. Did you put yourself in the best position out of those 1,000 to get that scholarship? You know what I mean? So just go ready to compete. The lights are going to be bright when you're there. So don't be scared. Don't shy away from competition while you're there either. Coaches like stuff like that, and they'll be impressed by the guys that's the lead. They're leading the groups. They already know what to do before they get there. They already know because they trained on it before they got there.
There's a lot of options out there. You were at 2 big camps over the weekend, SMU and the University of Texas. Those were definitely mega camps, a lot of big Power 5 schools and Division I schools there. But, you can go to all levels of football, and universities, colleges are offering camps at this point in time. So how do you know as a prospect which camp you should be going to best maximize your chances of getting an offer and an opportunity?
The biggest thing is being realistic with yourself, right? I tell kids, and I like to tell parents this exact same thing. Look at that team's roster. Look at your son or daughter, if she is a kicker, football, whatever. look at that camp's roster, look at their number one receiver, or if they play receiver, just go receiver, right? Look at their number one receiver, and then look at the last receiver on the depth chart on that roster. So say they have 17 receivers on that roster. Is your son better than any of those 17 kids at that position on that roster? And if the answer is no, that might not be the school for you. But you know what? That's okay. There's a million schools in the United States that you can go to a camp, right? But nowadays people get so cliche, and everybody wants to go to. I got to go to a Division I camp. I got to go to a Division I camp. Well, if the smallest player at a certain position that you play, just say hypothetically is 6 foot, and you're 5'5", that school might not recruit that. You know what I mean? So
Right.
you got to kind of be realistic. And that's okay if you can't get into the University of Texas because you're a 5'5" running back or wide receiver. And I know there's some anomalies, right? We did Deuce Vaughn just got drafted. He's a 5'5" running back out of Kansas State, right? He's a unicorn, right? And so and you can use that as motivation, and that's fine. But just because you can't get into Kansas State, they're not looking to bring in another one of him, doesn't mean that another school isn't. So you just got to look at the school's rosters and see if they recruit guys like you at all. And then, I go back to get in contact with the coaches. Try to get in contact with a coach and see if you can get your film evaluated at any point. And then that'll kind of let you know, too. Like, if you're just going to go to a camp, the coaches don't know you're coming, and just say hypothetically, it's a mega camp where there's 500 kids per session, and nobody even knows that you're there, like absolutely nobody. If you're not going to go out there and run a 4.4 or blazing 4.3, and just put up some crazy stats, you typically might not want to go to that. And I hate to say that because I have a lot of coach friends who are at major schools, and I'm not trying to tell kids not to go to their schools for their camps, but I like to be honest with the parents too. Like, you have to be realistic.
Now you mentioned the mega camps. There's different types of camps, obviously different levels of camps, and then there's like showcase type camps that that can prep you for those college camps. What are the differences between say a mega camp and a showcase camp?
So the mega camps, they're going to have 50, 60 different schools there, right? So, for example, at SMU, went to the SMU camp the other day, and they had maybe 50 schools there. So 50 schools, some brought their whole coaching staff. So there were maybe 150, 200 coaches from different schools all across the country there. From Division I, NAIA, I've seen some D3 schools there, and D2. So every level of football was there. So if you could play, they were there to see you. So those are the mega camps. The showcase camps that or the ones that the schools have where they don't invite other schools to come. Those are schools that are geared towards like, hey, we're looking for a certain something or a certain someone, and we're not trying to have everybody else on our campus instilling what we're trying to do type of camps. And those are very good because those are a lot more personal too. So just say, for example, Texas A&M Kingsville, it's a Division II school down in Corpus, right? If they had a camp and they're like, yo, we're having a camp, we're inviting you to come to our camp, whatever the case may be, and it's just them. It's because they're looking for, who they're trying to recruit, per se.
Now, this is kind of a loaded question, but a general one. If you're a high school prospect, why is attending a camp important for you being able to get that opportunity to play at the next level?
Exposure, right? No, you got a lot of people thinking, and the old saying is, if you can play, they'll find you. Those days are over.
Yeah.
These coaches are so busy, and I got friends that are coaches at Power 5 schools, like best friends, like I could call, and if I was ever having a bad time, and like they would be there for me, type of best friends, like, you know what I mean? And like I can call their mom type of deal. And so, but even me getting in contact with them sometimes, because they're just so busy, what I mean? So I know if I know these guys on a personal level and I know everything about them and I can't even get in contact with them on some days, you have to understand that a kid who doesn't even know this coach whatsoever, like you sending them their film or you expecting them just to stumble upon your Twitter or whatever the case may be, is slim to none. So you have to go to these camps and you have to put yourself in front of these coaches, and it sucks and it's tough because a lot of people can't afford to go to camp. You know what I mean? Um, and one of the things that we did last year, one of my buddies from California, um, they pretty much got grants and raised money and whatever. They flew out here to Texas, and with me, and then we wound up going to some camps, and the camps were paid for by grants and stuff like that. So there's different ways and different avenues to get into these camps. Just because you can't afford it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to go. You know, but to answer your question, it is important to go to these camps because the exposure is there, and your high school coach might not know. He might not have the connections,
Right.
and therefore you have to be in control of your recruiting by going to these camps.
You mentioned earlier, ways to sort of stand out at camps when you're going, before you go, messaging coaches, things like that. So just to circle back around to that, maybe what are some other ways that you can stand out in that camp setting to college coaches?
See, if I give you that secret, then everybody gonna do it, and it won't be so exclusive for my, because I got my guys doing it. But I will say this: um, I make my guys wear something that'll make them stand out.
Hmm.
I went to a camp one year, and this kid, he had on a gold, bright gold backpack with wings on it, really long wings. He had on some bright gold shoes, some cleats. Um, and so when he walked up, everybody was looking at him like, man, this dude, like, he looks funny, right? But when he went out there and started making plays,
Hmm.
everybody said, that's that kid that had the gold backpack. So when
Hmm.
coach, after it was over, coaches were walking around, hey, where's that kid with the gold backpack? Because they couldn't remember his name, but they remember he had the gold backpack. So when he picked up that gold backpack to put his cleats in there, everybody was like, that's the kid right there. And people went to go talk to him.
Wow.
So you have to do something that's going to make you stand out. Like when I'm going to these camps and I see everybody has black shorts on. Well, if everybody has on black shorts and they give you all the same white T-shirt, yeah, you have a number on the back of it at most of the camps. But how am I going to remember that? And
Right.
I'm out there with the coaches. I'm on the field. I'm out there talking and I'm politicking and networking. And they'll say, "Hey, do you remember this one kid?" I'm like, "Which one was it?" Because they all got dreads. Oh, they all got the same low haircut. They all got, you know what I'm saying? So it's everybody the same. You have to do something to make you stand out. And no matter how silly it may be, right? It'll be something that somebody is going to remember. I'm not telling you to wear pajamas. I can't stand that. Um, or you know what I mean? But you do something that makes you stand out. And now when you take it to the performance side, your performance, something that you do in your performance should make you stand out as well. So get away from the article of clothing side of it, get to the performance side of it. By being able to run a low 4.5 40 as a big guy, or if you're a small guy, you should absolutely be running a 4.5 4.6. That right there is going to make you stand out. Being prepared in the drills and standing out in the drills is going to make you stand out. Now it's time to get to the one-on-ones and being coached up and asking your coach questions too is going to make you stand up. But the biggest thing that I like to do is I tell people, go introduce yourself. Go introduce yourself to the coach. Shake his hand. Look him in the eye, because he might not remember your name exactly, but he's going to remember your face. He's going to remember that you came up to him and you shook his hand and looked him in the eye. That'll make you stand out too.
And a lot of the college camps that I've been to, at the end, they have a period where you can go around and talk to those college coaches. So that's great. I was going to ask you, how would you go about doing that? And really just overall, how do you recommend conducting yourself? I think you're big on attitude and effort, and I'm sure that's obviously something that these college coaches are looking for too. So how do you conduct yourself at a college camp, similar to the lines of being able to stand out, make yourself stand apart?
The biggest thing. So a couple years ago, I went to I want to say maybe 3 years ago. I went to it was 3 years ago. I went to one of SMU's mega camps. And there was this kid from California. He went to Centennial High School. He played corner. And the reason I remember all of this is because he stood out. He went to Centennial High School. I can't remember his name though, but if I seen him again, I will remember his face. He conducted himself with an attitude, and I mean an attitude in a positive way, right? I'm a little. When I played, I was real chippy. Like I like to talk, right? And one-on-ones, I'm talking because I work hard and I feel like I'm better than you, and I'm going to show you why I'm better than you. So I'm going to call out who is the best corner. I want to go against you, and then you think you're better than him? I want to go against you next. Okay, no, I'm better than. Okay, how many offers you got? Okay, I want to go against you now because you know what I'm saying. So this kid, this corner from California, he was calling people out, and he was talking a little bit, but he was backing it up, right? So if you're going to talk, for one, be able to back it up. But this guy was backing it up. He conducted himself in a respectful way. He wasn't out there cussing nobody out and doing all of that, but he was calling people out. And so you conduct yourself in a manner of, man, be you. If you a dog, be a dog. Like you got to go and display a dog. And I'm not talking about no poodle. I'm talking about if you a pit bull, go be a pit bull. But if you're not a pit bull and you pretend to be a pit bull, it's going to come out funny. It ain't going to sound right. And then you're going to go out there and get embarrassed, whatever position you play. So obviously you want to conduct yourself the same way you would in front of your parents. However, for me, man, when I get on that field, like even when I coach, when I get on that field, it's just something that just happens to me. Like a switch just flips, and I'm straight. I'm competitive. I'm super competitive. The same way when I play my son in Madden. Hey, he get to talking. I don't care that he's 13. I'm gonna beat you. Like, I got to you like I'm better than you. You know what I mean? So just like stuff like that. Like be out there. When you're out there, be out there ready to compete. Right. But you definitely want to conduct yourself in a respectful manner. And what I tell kids after the camp, after they break it down and they have you see your position coach and all right, ready, break, sprint to get your phone. Go get your phone from your parents, out of your backpack, whatever. Now you go to every coach. Hey, coach, man, thank you so much for coaching me up. Thank you for coming out. Hey, coach, can I have your Twitter? Get their Twitter right there. Boom, 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 boom. Most coaches won't give you their personal cell phone number. They'll give you their school business cell phone number if they do that, but they'll give you their Twitter. Like, hey, coach, hey, can I have your Twitter? Boom. Okay, I'm about to follow you right now. Hey, go to the next coach. Hey, coach, thank you so much. It was good to meet you. Hey, I'm such and such from whatever high school. Hey, can I have your Twitter? Boom, get their Twitter. And then you'll leave there. You should never leave a camp, especially a mega camp, but you should never leave a camp without having your local recruiter. So like if you go to a smaller camp, so where that's the only school that's there, it's just their camp. You find out, hey, just say if you come to Texas or anything, but okay, hey coach, who's the San Antonio recruiter? Hey, can I get his information? Oh, that's you. Hey coach, can I have your Twitter? Hey coach, I need to send you my transcript, coach. Hey, I need to send you my blah blah blah. Coach, I ain't even say I was recruiting you. I know, coach, but just in case, you know what I'm saying, we have that point, you already gonna have my transcript, you're gonna have my social media, you're gonna be able to get in contact with my parents because I'm gonna have my NCAA ID up on there. You're gonna have everything you need. You're gonna have my cell phone number on there. I'll put my parents' email, and you'll have everything you need. So I tell kids, hey, go get your phone and you go to every coach out here. Hey, it's 150 coaches out here. Go speak to all 150 of them. And I'm not telling you to get 150 Twitters and phone numbers, but you need to go have, if you're a receiver, and I play receiver, if you're a receiver, you should have every receiver coach from every school that's out here at this mega camp's social media and a way to get in contact with them.
One last question for you, Coach, and then we'll let you go. I know you're busy there at work today, so we appreciate you so much for joining us. Everyone has a bad day. Everyone's, sometimes you struggle a little bit. How do you suggest bouncing back from a bad performance, training up, getting ready for the next camp in the event that you have a bad camp?
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I wound up coming into work today. I was gonna be off today because I was a little under the weather, and I was actually supposed to be at a camp down in Corpus with my guys. But I was like, well, if I'm not going, I might as well come to work. But anyway, so how do you bounce back from that? For me, it's short-term memory. You got to have a short-term memory. You can't hold on to it. It's the same thing you do on Friday nights, or if you play on Saturdays or Thursday, whatever. If you you give up a play, you drop a ball, you miss a block, any of that, you have to have a short-term memory and be prepared to go to the next play. When I was in college, we ran a no-huddle offense, right? So I didn't have a drop ball until my junior year of college. So I had to learn that too. Like, I ain't dropped the ball in 3 years, like, you know what I mean, in a game. And so it's, hey, but we're running a no-huddle. Get back to the line and get ready for the next play. I can't sit there and dwell on it like, oh, man, if he throws me the ball and after I just dropped his last one, what if I drop it again? Now, you can't think like that. You got to have a short-term memory and you got to be ready to go. Because not only is your future, right, counting on it, so are the coaches and the quarterbacks and whoever who's coaching you while you're there. They're counting on you to have that short memory to be able to keep going.
Coach, again, thank you so much for your time. Before we let you go, how can the kids follow you, find you on social media, and tap in with you?
So my Twitter keeps popping up as DKM, the word one. There you go, right there, DKM13. And man, if you look at my Twitter, you'll see why I'm kind of slow to get back to people, because my DMs are flooded, and I try to get back to people as soon as I can. And so, just reach out to me, connect with me. You want me to watch your film, any of that? Just let me know, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'm not ignoring people. I'm trying to catch up with everyone.
Coach Miller, fourth quarter pressure. That's another episode of the DR Sports Academy.